Hello candidates, and welcome to our today's revision session. We're going to solve a question that is good for students who are studying business mathematics and statistics, those who are studying financial mathematics, and those who are studying business calculations. That is this is a good question we're going to do here on the board. The question required candidates to calculate the indices, Las Payes price index, the purchase price index, the Fisher's ideal price index. The question also required candidates to distinguish between primary data and secondary data. There is also a question on the methods, explain methods that could be used in collection of primary data. The question reads as follows. Distinguish between primary data and secondary data, 2 marks. Explain 3 methods that could be used in the collection of primary data, 6 marks. Distinguish between primary and secondary data. Primary data and secondary data, 2 marks. Candidates, primary data is that data that is collected directly by an investigator for studying a particular problem. It is data collected from original source. Primary data is data that is collected from the original source. In part 2, we will give examples of primary data. 3 examples that could be used in collecting primary. That's the second question. But candidates, this is data that is collected directly by an investigator for studying a particular problem. For example, if you want to get the statistics of the number of vehicles that pass through Moi Avenue, the investigator can go and sit along Moi Avenue and count the number of vehicles that ply that route. The data that is collected is what we are referring to as primary data. Why? Because that data is collected by the investigator directly. Then secondary data, candidates, is data that has already been collected and analyzed by other people. It is obtained from published or unpublished sources. Secondary data is data that is collected by other persons. You can also collect data from published sources like newspapers, magazines, the television, and other devices. The data that is collected from other persons is what we are referring to as secondary data. This is data that is collected by other people. It is data that is collected and analyzed by other people, and it is obtained from published or unpublished sources. Part 2, candidates were required to give methods that could be used to collect primary data. Methods that can be used to collect primary data. One most popular method is the questionnaire method. Questionnaires can be used to collect data. Questionnaires. This is the most popular method, and it entails a list of questions pertaining to the inquiry which is filled by the respondents. If you require information, for example, from students, you will prepare a questionnaire which is a list of questions that the students will be required to fill or to answer. So it is a list of questions. That's why we are calling it questionnaire. Then primary data can be obtained through observation. Observation, from the word observe. In observation method, information is collected on the basis of observation and is carried out without asking the respondents. For example, I gave an example of one who would want to know how many vehicles use a certain road in a day. The investigator does not need to ask questions when he's using this method known as observation. He will go sit along the road and count the vehicles. Count the vehicles. Information is collected on the basis of observation. You use your eyes, and it's carried out without asking questions from the respondents. Another method is interviewing. Interview method. It entails a conversation between the interviewer or the investigator and the respondent, whereby the interviewer asks questions pertaining to the research and the respondent answers the questions. You ask questions, then the respondent gives the answers as you write down the answers. Interview is a conversation between the one carrying out investigation and the one providing the data. So these are three methods that can be used to collect primary data. How many marks? 6 marks. To distinguish 1 mark, 1 mark, 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, total. These are 8 marks. 8 easy marks. Easy marks. We will now answer part B, which says the following table shows the quantities of 4 types of construction materials sold and their unit prices in the years 2017 and 2018. So we have types of construction materials. There are tiles, roofing sheets, steel bars, and timber. Required, using the year 2017 as the base year, calculate Roman 1, last payers price index, 4 marks. Roman 2, purchase price index, 4 marks. Roman 3, Fisher's ideal price index, 4 marks. 4 marks. So candidates, the first thing to do when you have such a question is to put down the formula. Put down the formula. This is part B, Roman 1. Part B, Roman 1. Candidates were to compute last pay raise price index is equal to the summation of P1 Q naught over summation of P naught Q naught. That's the formula for calculating last payers price index, where P naught is the current price P1 is the current price, Q0 is the base quantity, P0 is the base price, Q0 is the base quantity. So candidates, I'm going to have a table here to help me determine the weights, then the summation. Okay, so from this data, I have tiles, roofing sheets, steel bars, and timber. You can see 2017 and 2018. So the 2017 prices, we have that will be P0. Then quantities for 2017, that is Q0. Year 2018, there are prices shown there. Those are the current prices, 2018 current prices. So the prices for 2018, those are will be represented by P0. Then the quantities for 2018, Q1. That is Q1, prices Q1, prices 2018, Q1, quantities 2018, Q1. So I'm going to have a table here. First column, construction, material. Second column, candidates, will have going to have P0, P0, the P0 represents the prices for the current, the base period. We read from the question that we need to compute using the year 2017 as the base year, calculate last base price index. So 2017 is the base year. So the prices for 2017 will be represented by P0. Then the quantities for 2017 will be represented by Q0, All right. The current prices will these are the prices for the year 2018 will be represented by P0, P1, that is P1, and the quantities for 2018 will be represented by P1, current prices. These are current prices and current quantities, current quantities. 100, these are timber quantity. So we're going to have another column, and these candidates you can see being directed by the formula. We're going to get the sum of P0, and this is P1 and Q0. P1 current prices times the base quantities. Current prices times the base quantities. Current prices times the base quantities. Current prices times base quantities. So we're going to take my machine, P1, 800 times Q0, 100. Do you see that? P0, this is P1 times Q0. P1 times Q0, 800 times 100 for tiles. That gives me, this is 800 times 100. This is 8 and 4 zeros. 800 times 100. Then 1,000 times 140. This gives me 140, 3 zeros. 800 times 150. Okay. This gives me 120. 15 times 8 is 120. Okay. Then 1, 2, 3, 3 zeros. Then 900 times 100. You can see here 9. And how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are. Then I get this total summation. We sum these figures. I'll have 80 plus 140 plus 120 plus 90. This is 90. Okay. 80 plus 140 plus 120 plus 90. This is equal to 430,000. P naught, P1, Q naught, P1, Q naught. Then we will have another column for P naught, Q naught, 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 P naught, P naught, Q naught, P naught, Q naught. For tiles, 500 times 1000. Can see 5, 4 zeros. 800 times 140. 14 times 8. This is equal to 14 times 8 times 8, 112. These are 3 zeros. Then I have 15 times 4, 60, 3 zeros, 60, 3 zeros. 500 times 100, 5, 4 zeros, 5, 4 zeros. What is the total? The total is 50 plus 112 plus 60 plus 50, 272,000. 272,000. Therefore, the last payers price index will be equal to the summation of P1 Q naught, which is 430,000, divided by the summation of P naught Q naught, 272,000. I'll divide 430 by 272. So last payers, the last payers price index is equal to 158. When converted into percent, candidates will be 158%. This is times 100%. Times 100%. The answer is 158%. 158%. Then we need to calculate the purchase purchase price index. Purchase price index, candidates. Purchase price index, we know the formula is the summation of P naught, Q1, P1 Q1 over summation of P naught Q1, P naught Q1. This is very important. You need to memorize the formula times 100. Convert it into percentage times 100. So we'll need to have a column for P naught. This is P1 Q1, P1 Q1, P1 Q1. Then P naught Q1. P naught Q1, we already have it here. P1, do we have it? No, we don't. We need to calculate it. We need to calculate P naught Q1. P naught Q1. P naught Q1. We'll need P naught Q1. P naught Q1. So candidates, we calculate P naught P1 Q1, P1 Q1, P1 Q1, P1 Q1, P1 Q1. This is 120 times 800, 96,000. 100. This is 1,000 times 120, so 120,000. 800 times 110. This is 88. 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Am I right? Am I calculating the right thing? Supposed to be P naught. Supposed to be P1 Q1. P1 Q1. Yes, P1 Q1. P1 Q1. 9,000. 90,000. This is 90,000. What's the total? Have 96 plus 120 plus 88 plus 90 is equal to 394. 394,000. The summation of P1 Q1. Summation of P1 Q1. Then we will calculate, get the product of P naught Q naught. P naught Q1. P naught Q1. P naught Q1. 500. 12 times 5. This is 60,000. 800 times 120. 96,000. Then 400 times 110. 44. How many zeros? 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Then we have 500 times 100. These are 4 zeros. 1, 2, 1, 2. 4 zeros. 1, 2, 4 zeros. Then we get the total. I have 60 plus 96 plus 44 plus 50. 250,000. So candidates, these are the inputs. Summation of P1 Q1. Summation of P1 Q1 is 394,000. This is equal to 394,000. divide by the summation of P naught Q1, summation of P naught Q1, 250,000. 250,000 times 100, going to divide 394, divide 250. The purchase price index is 157. Let me round it off to 158. That's the purchase price index. Part 3, Fisher's ideal price index. Fisher's ideal price index. The Fisher's ideal price index, part 3, Fisher's ideal price index is simply the square root of last pay's year's price index times purchase price index. We get the square root of the product, the square root of the product of last pay's price index and purchase price index. We have the 2 last pay's price index 158, 158. So candidates, 158 times 158. This is equal to 158. So candidates, that is the Fisher's ideal price index, and if you are keen, you may have noticed that the last pay's price index is the same as the purchase price index as well as the Fisher's ideal price index. Is not always the case, candidates. It's only a coincidence that the last pay's price index is the same as the purchase price index, but you can see, candidates, the values for the summation of P1 Q1 and summation of P0 Q1, the values are different. These values are different. So it's just a matter of coincidence that the last pay's is the same as the purchase price index. So that will mark the end of our today's session. This one was to earn candidates 4 marks each. 4 marks. I said it's important for you to have the formula in your memory. So that is 1 mark, 1 mark. These are workings, another mark. Purchase formula, 1 mark. The answer there, 1 mark. These 2 workings, very important. Last year's the same thing. If you didn't get the purchase and last pay's right, then it's not possible to have the correct Fisher's ideal price index. These are 4 marks total, 12 marks. 12 marks. So candidates, we have uploaded practice questions for your revision. Below this video, there are practice questions. Make sure you download the questions, print the questions, attempt the questions. If you have problems answering the questions, please write to us. We will help you solve problems in business mathematics or financial mathematics or business calculations. Bye-bye.